Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. We're the Movie Couple. I'm Dustin.
I'm Wendy.
And this is our spoiler review for Lovecraft Country, Episode 9, Rewind to 1921. Well, actually, just Rewind 1921.
Yes.
And so far, this series has just been a slew of exciting episodes. And this one is not short in the excitement. I have to admit, this has just been... because it ended on episode 8 ended on such a cliffhanger.
My
But
God, what a
before we
great
get
episode.
too much into that, just so you know, this is our spoiler review. We're going to be talking about all of the juicy parts of this episode because there's a lot of them. So if you haven't seen this episode yet, please put us on pause, go watch the episode, and then come back and chat with us about all this cool stuff that happened.
And with that said, you have been warned, so let's go ahead and dive into the spoiler talk for episode 9, Rewind 1972. What? What? 1921. Sorry.
Numbers get flipped.
72 isn't even in the numbers that I wanted to say.
Nope, that's a totally new number that's in there.
I don't know what that... Maybe I read something that said 1972 before we started this video. It's very possible. But hey, this show has just... Each episode gets better and better. Obviously, if you watched our last spoiler talk, then you know that Dustin and I really enjoyed episode 8. It's by far our favorite episode. For me personally, it still is. But episode 9, I would say, is the most emotional one. Probably the hardest one to watch because in order to save... D, they ask for Christina's help.
Mm-hmm.
Christina does help them, which
one condition
complicates it so much more because now Ruby's obviously brought into the whole thing, so she is in on it. Hippolyta walks back in at, like, seriously the best timing of this series, where she's like, oh, is my daughter sick? She's got a fever? It's like, oh, well... You can say that. She's actually cursed.
Mm-hmm. And Hippolyta doesn't like bat an eye. Now that she's gone through all of these hundreds of years of experience, of life experience, she now knows pretty much everything.
She's like Doctor Strange. I've seen all the possibilities. She was like, I was on Earth 504. It's like,
and then she
what?
has those
the power
ports in her arms.
The purple ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hippolyta is definitely back, way more powerful now that she's gone on this entire journey of discovery. She said, I can name myself as whoever I want in this world, and she's seen all the possibilities. So, you know, she's coming back in exuding this confidence that it's very different than what she had before, right? Because she had always been smart.
Yeah.
But this is a very different kind of a Hippolyta.
This is a Hippolyta that has been freed. Her intelligence gets to be free. Her curiosity is now nurtured and supported.
She's unlocked all of her chakras.
If
you want to put it in Naruto term.
That is actually a really good way of kind of saying it. Yeah, that she has been able to kind of overcome all of those barriers that held her back. That she is now being able to be the person that she's always wanted to be.
Mm-hmm. And in order to save Dee, we need a little spell casting from Christina. And Christina's like, great, I can help you, but I actually do need the book.
Yeah.
So
she can reset the spell.
Yeah.
But
well, she reset the spell, but they have up until, like... It just means Dee goes back in time if in her current, like, status of stage of cursed.
Yeah.
Which is like, so it's still going to, she's still going to end up in the same place and then further into the curse if they can't perform the spell to save her.
They just bought some time.
They bought some time. That's the easiest way of putting it.
But to cure it, Christina's like, well, I'm only going to do this if Atticus comes peacefully.
Willingly.
Oh, yeah.
Willingly.
Very true. Willingly.
So, and that all happens in the next episode. Oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen. But one of the most satisfying things, before we get into the super emotional part of this episode, was Christina as William walking back into Lancaster's office, because we both thought that he had died.
Yeah.
Like, after being attacked by that monster. We forget that he's, like, Frankensteined himself using magic, which is so gross. And seeing just the spell not working and the body is not taking, it's rotting, it's falling apart, watching him dying. and watching Christina / William kind of getting that satisfaction, because she did say, like, I wanted to see you live and die over and over again, but I guess I'm just gonna have to settle for this one time. And she watches him die,
so brutal.
which is what that stone was for, that she asked Ruby to kind of sneakily put in his drawer.
Yep, so he can never use that spell again. And the fact that his body was obviously a darker, I mean, the fact that he got all of his Frankenstein body parts from black people that he has kidnapped, and then just re-put. That's just, it was
so gross. It's
so
gross than what, like, the act of that versus the grotesque scenery of like how graphic it is to see the body falling away. Like, the act of it itself is obviously way more gross than what it is, which is what we have always really liked about Lovecraft Country from the beginning, like the idea of it, because you're mixing, you know, the mythology of like Lovecraft with Jim Crow's America.
Yeah.
Which is like, what's really scarier if they're both exist in real life?
Yeah, and also the way that they then transitioned into talking about Tulsa. Because I'm glad that more and more shows and stuff are bringing these specific events to light more and more often. Yeah. And the more we're able to talk about it, the more that we're able to bring it to people's awareness, I think is just going to help. It gives you that social healing that we kind of need.
And just to learn about actual, you know, to learn about history, and to know that no matter how gruesome and grotesque it is, we should learn about it, we should talk about it. So the time traveling episode is basically what this one is. We get to go back to Tulsa, which is very traumatic for Montrose, because his family's homes were there.
Yeah,
he
lived
knows
there.
What happened with Dora's family when they were all trapped inside and they burned, and to kind of have to come in for him to Montrose is the one character that I kind of feel I love and I hate. I love him because he's complex, and there's a lot of internal struggles going on inside there. There's this man that just seems with such a hard exterior, alcoholic, but he's hiding, you know, this secret of being gay, and of what's come to light, and what he's had to tell Atticus, to now Atticus finding out that I might not actually be your legitimate son. Like, I might be a Georgia's son, to revealing to Atticus while they're in Tulsa time traveling, saying, even though all this, my life led up to all this, I wanted nothing more than to actually be a father, and that he wouldn't trade anything else in the world. And that was a lot, I think, to me, coming from Montrose, was for him to finally admit that in his, like, freaking, now I get why he drinks, probably.
Yeah, is that frustrating? I mean, to have to deal with something like that.
You'd rather live in a haze.
Well, and also to be kind of like, you have to hide who you really are. And if anyone knows who you really were, they would take away what you truly love. And yet then he's trying to make sure that his son doesn't go through the same kind of thing. So he's repeating the mistakes of his father.
You see him getting beat, his crap beaten out of him by his father in Tulsa. And I think, and I think it was good that when we saw that it was not just Montrose reliving that memory and seeing it happen again, but to have Atticus see it. Because Atticus grew up fearing his father and being beaten up.
It's one of those things that it's a duality to where it helps both of them. One, it helps Montrose to be able to be like, see, that's what happened, and now let me narrate what's all of the subtext that's going on. So it's helping Atticus to talk about it, to bring it out, to actually, you know, from hiding it to revealing it. And then it helps Atticus to be able to see it, to hear his dad's point of view. And it's just great character building to have these moments in this traumatic event that you know is going to go south very, very quickly and very, very, very bad.
It happened rather quickly. As soon as they landed in Tulsa, they didn't have time, and we were again yelling at the TV screen because Montrose, knowing what he's going to have to deal with going back, was drinking quite heavily in this episode to kind of help him deal with it. And you know, when you time travel, you can't say or do anything that can help alter
oh my gosh,
reality.
Like Letty and that one girl in the house.
Oh, the younger one?
Uh-huh. I can't remember who.
Not Dora, but I think Dora's sister, perhaps?
Yeah. And it's the fact that she's like telling about this boy that she likes.
She likes George.
And you can't, I know, but you can't tell anyone. And the fact that I was just like, oh my gosh. And she sits and Letty's standing there knowing she's going to die and not being able to say anything about it. You're like, I just want to help these people. I want them to be able to get out, but I can't. I have to get the book, and that's it.
And that was her job, and she did it. But she did have to come clean to great-grandmother, whose name I unfortunately have forgotten. Great-grandmother also knew. She knew. She said, your shoes don't look right. She's like, so where are you from? And Letty, in the moment of despair, because things were already happening, like shit's about to go down, if she didn't act quickly, they weren't going to get the book. They can't save Dee, and who knows what other bad things could happen then.
Yeah.
So she came clean. She said, look, this is what's the deal. I'm pregnant. I got Atticus's son.
Your grandson.
Yeah, like please let me have the book. And what a hard choice to make for great-grandmother to sit there and say, okay, you'll have the book, and when your son is born, his flesh will be him being born will be something. I'm not saying this right, but my faith in flesh is what she said, and she and Letty kind of hold hands, and Letty had to watch her burn.
Ugh.
And it was just was one of those really awful moments where, the generation sacrifice.
Yeah.
Displayed in this one. And then we kind of fast forward and we pivot over to the park where we have Dora, George, and Montrose, and this is how they kind of came away being alive from the Tulsa event. And it was because a stranger with a bat shows up and saves them, and they're watching, Montrose and Atticus watching this happen. This stranger's not showing up when they realized, hey, it's one of us.
It's Atticus.
One of us.
And I love the fact, too, that once this moment happened, I had a little bit of a flashback to the opening scene of the first episode, to where Atticus is at war. All of these strange alien things are coming up, and the person that comes to save him is Jackie Robinson.
And he says,
I got you.
I got you, kid.
I got you, kid. And the fact that he does that exact same thing for his dad.
For his dad and uncle.
And the moment before all of that happened, too, when Montrose is having that conversation with Thomas, and older Montrose is describing what's going on, all of the emotions. And,
Thomas.
And Thomas, and it was a very emotional episode, to where you see all of the, because going back to a traumatic event in history is always
not just history, but your own trauma. That was a lot to face in one episode. So I do kind of understand Montrose's heavy drinking a little bit more at this point. But they accomplished what they were able to accomplish. One of my favorite parts is kind of Letty walking through the fire as the planes were dropping. The just more incendiary stuff on the town. And with the book, with that determination, having seen what she saw, having just kind of had to watch this woman burn and give up her life, couldn't save any of them because that would alter history. That's got to be hard. But they do, just by the skin of their teeth, make it back to present time. Well, their present time. Hippolyta just barely able to hold that portal together, and we see the hair
blue
change.
Hair.
Yeah, the blue hair, which if you watch the preview for the next episode, she keeps the blue hair. Like, it doesn't go away just because, like, her energy or whatever surged.
And how much she looks like Dee's comic book character.
She is the character.
Which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I think
really, it's a great little storytelling device. And that's where it ended, right? It was right at that moment. I'm trying to think if there was anything after that moment of them all coming through, the portal closing, Hippolyta's hair is blue, and Dee is laying down on the ground.
Yeah, I think that's all there was. If I'm missing something, please tell us in the comment section below. But it was a very powerful episode. I was wondering when they would do a little bit more of the time traveling. I don't know if I like it or not that they put it so late in the season, because now that's episode 9.
One more episode.
Next week's episode better be like an hour and a half.
I hope so.
Like a mini movie. Because, okay, we got to talk about this. Because, as we said, episode 8 was our favorite. Previous to that, episode 6 was our favorite. Well, at least was my personal favorite. We got to see Gia for like a hot second. a hot second.
Where is she?
Where is she? Did she really leave? Atticus said leave, and she said okay, and she left?
And she went back to Korea.
Come on. I don't know.
Not.
I really hope not.
I think she's going to make some kind of surprise appearance
Fox
at the
Demon.
very end. Yeah, Fox Demon
comes out to save. Yeah, so we'll see. Another thing that I realized, kind of just thinking back to episode 8, was that the night creature with all the many eyes.
Oh, yeah,
that
the one
popped
that
out
saved
the ground.
Atticus.
Right. So Atticus, I think, was able to not soothe it without that whistle. Remember when all of them were in the forest, when there were many of them, somebody blew a whistle. I think it was probably Dell, or maybe Christina, I don't know. Blew the whistle, and that's what made all the beasts go away and call them back. And Atticus didn't seem to need that, so I wonder if, however the spell was performed, I don't know if Montrose, because of the dyslexia, mixed up some words a little bit and made the spell slightly better.
You know, I
or
think
the summoning a little bit better.
What might have happened too is the fact that the spell that they brought, that was a spell. That one creature was created by a spell. However, we saw Christina in like episode 2 giving birth to one of the creatures from a cow. So I'm wondering if what they were doing was they were breeding more. So the ones that were more pale at the mansion were ones that they had bred, and the one that Atticus has is created by a spell. Yes,
right.
Created. So that is a more pure form of that creature,
therefore
whereas all of the other
powerful.
ones, so they're more powerful. However, the other ones are ones that you could have without using a spell, but they're weaker.
But you have to train them. Yeah,
train them and breed them
from a cow. Ugh. Anyways, there's so much going on. I seriously don't know how they're going to wrap it up. I really don't know where we're going to wrap it up, because in the book I am just at the part where Hippolyta is going on her journey of discovery. So I am like pretty far behind in the book.
Which is weird, because I heard that one part, but there's still a whole bunch before that they've skipped. So didn't they move Hippolyta's story of discovery, so to speak, forward a little bit in the book? And then are you really that far along?
Yeah, a little bit. What happened before that was that a bunch of them went to the museum to get.
Oh.
So
they definitely bumped up Hippolyta's.
Shifted around a little bit, but it still makes sense.
Yeah.
Because all this could happen around the same time as she's going on her little guide trip research. So, those are our spoiler thoughts on episode 9 for Lovecraft Country. Let us know what your favorite part was in this episode in the comment section below, and what you're looking forward to in the final episode, in episode 10. What do you hope to get resolved? What do you want to see wrapped up? Do you want to see more of Gia? I know I do. There's a lot more.
And also, what are some of you guys' expectations, especially with the book? Once this season is over, I'm really curious on if they're going to make a season 2, if they're going to make a season 3, or do you think that this is going to be like, with those who have read the book, the way that the book ends, is it kind of a self-contained story, or does it actually lead itself to be able to tell more and more and more, to maybe have like a season 2, season 3? I have no idea, but those who are experts watching this, comment below, tell us what you like. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.